Welcome back to the European Space Research Organization in 1952 to 1953 as we start the first launch on the 1st of January 1952, a Hermes-free civilian. As you may have noticed, I'm doing this a bit differently than last episode. I have decided to voice over the footage I have edited, and I don't really have a script, so I'm just gonna talk over what I'm seeing here. I've done this a few months ago, not a few, like 1 month ago, the editing, so I don't exactly remember what is going on in this footage, but I will manage. In the background we can actually see a beautiful sunrise that I've managed to capture or launch at, compared to last episode where I messed that one up. But the further we go up, we can see the sun slowly making its way up on the horizon with those beautiful colors. It is quite a sight, to be honest, and it shows how beautiful Kerbal Space Program can be, even though my graphics are not that good, as my PC doesn't have the specs, but still, it is quite beautiful. What is also beautiful is the gimmick I've placed on this rocket. It's those fairings deploying like that. I forgot the name, the technical part, but I'm quite proud of it. It's also cool that we can see the Terminator line, which is the line that differentiates night and day on Earth or any planet. And it's nice to see it in this way. Hopefully we can see it from orbit soon. And now we plunge down into the night of Earth, coming from sunrise to sunset now. We can see those beautiful colors again in the blues, the greens, the yellows and the red. And now the sun sets on the horizon. Now we have to quickly recover our payload before it sinks in the ocean, as the game doesn't like the ocean. It makes it pretty hard to recover stuff once it is in the ocean. So we have to be quick about it. Coming back from our flight, we have gathered a lot of science, which we can use to unlock early science in the technology building and start to upgrade our facilities using the money we have gathered from completing the contract that I've signed before the launch, which was a biological sample return, if I remember correctly. Our science queue is quite full now, and with no time to spare, we accept the next contract to launch another Hermes-free civilian, again with a biological sample and a bit more payload, which means the top of the rocket is a bit larger now, but it doesn't matter for the performance that much. And again, we can see a low sun. This time it is setting, not rising, so we have this beautiful reflection on the water down below. And we are going to skip forward now, as this is pretty much the same as the last one, to again those fairings deploying, this time in more detail. It is quite beautiful. I'm still very proud of that one. And the payload being shot out. And then recovered again. Quite fast, so the sun is not set, but still reflecting on the water surface. The parachute allows for recovery in the ocean here. And this time we can see it doesn't work the first time, as the water is quite hard to manage with. We've recovered a lot of science again, and we go straight into the science building and unlock satellite area material science, which will help for future development of bigger rockets. Now we've launched the first Ambrosia 1, the first guided rocket actually in this playthrough. I'm also proud of this design. I'm quite proud of my work, as you may have noticed, but this is actually the first failure we have in this save, if I remember correctly. There we go. We have an explosive failure on the engine, which is quite horrible. Our space program is set back a lot by this. We lost a lot of money on that one, and it was hard to recover from this failure, as the first launch of this vehicle was this one. But we self-destruct and we go to a Hermes free military, this time without fairings, to make up the loss of the Ambrosia 1 vehicle. So it is a simple altitude rocket. Yes, so no gimmicks here. It is simply going up and then self-destructing for a solid pay, if I am correct, because the game rewards you for not doing contracts over and over again. The more time you have between contracts, the more money it gives you. And it's been a while since we've done a simple altitude one. So this is a good payout, if I remember. It's probably like 40,000 funds, which is 2 upgrades we can put into our facilities. So it's quite good that we do that after this failure. Having now reached the required altitude at 200,000 meters roughly, we can self-destruct the rocket as I've said previously, and we can see we have completed the contract at the top right, which means we get a solid amount of payment. Back at the Space Center, we skip forward the reconditioning and go into the Mission Control Center and pick up the next contract for a biological sample return. This contract is easily managed by our Hermes 3 civilian rocket, or sounding rocket. It is a routine launch of this vehicle and no problems recorded this time, thankfully. Now we can see this beautiful fairings deploying again. I'm still proud of this. There we go. Shooting out into space. Now we skip forward to the recovery again. And there we go. We see a perfect recovery of the payload and shooting out again. There we go. Nope, doesn't work. Now it works. Thank God. We've recovered a lot of science and a lot of money from completing the contract, which makes us able to unlock orbital rocketry engines. Quite ahead of schedule, I might add. This regained confidence makes us pick up the next contract for downrange and also the 3,000 kilometer downrange contracts, which is the first milestone contract we can do towards orbits. Now upgrading our facilities. Now, on the 25th of November 1953, we have another Ambrosia 1 vehicle on the launch pad lifting off without problem. However, during the ascent, we have managed to stress the aerodynamic fins and we can see the vehicle losing structural integrity, I would call it. And this marks the second failure of this rocket and the last launch of 1953. This marks the end of the episode and the end of this year for a space program, sadly with failure. Now, I would like to thank you for watching this episode. Again, I would appreciate feedback in the comments on this new style I'm trying here with the voiceover and a bit less documentary style to bring more of my personality into this. I think it is a better change. But if people say it's not, then I will go back to the other one. Or not. Maybe I will just do it my way and people can just decide not to watch. Still, thank you for watching this and I wish you a happy new year, a bit late but still, and all the best. See ya.